Afternoon, everybody. Trust everybody's well. We're just about into the afternoon, so I got that bit right. Trust everybody's enjoying themselves at the exhibition here. As the cover slide tends to suggest, I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes or so about how you can genuinely transform your business through your employees. They're your biggest asset. They're right in front of you, but they're often completely overlooked. I'll start by being mildly controversial and say that there's not many businesses that would actually disagree about effective employee engagement because it sounds obvious. There's nobody that would actually say that's not a good thing to do. But how many businesses, when you think about your own, think about the places where you work, how many businesses actually really focus on it? How many businesses actually have an actionable plan that they can point to and that properly do it? And I think you'd agree, you can tell by my tender years and grey hair, trust me from my experience, there's nowhere near enough. And there's nowhere near enough because we're preconditioned and businesses are mainly run to think short term. I'll hopefully dispel a little bit of that. So who am I? Very briefly, the boring bit. And why am I qualified to talk about employee engagement? Chartered accountant by profession, a really boring bit, actually qualified in Manchester, not too far from here. I spent over 20 years leading either large global or more entrepreneurial domestic, people-intensive outsourcers. I spent an awful lot of time on engagement and managing quite literally tens of thousands of people. I qualified as a chartered manager because I passionately believe in employee engagement. And I did promise myself that I would never sit another exam or go through that process again. But I reached a point when I just thought I really wanted to do it, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I joined Centralist, which I'll touch on a little bit later on, because everything that we do is about employee engagement, and I couldn't find another organisation that was completely focused on that. Our proposition is genuinely unique, and unique in the Oxford English Dictionary sense that nobody else has what we do. And we can, and I'll hopefully explain it properly, show you how you can really transform your business through your biggest asset, as I describe. Some of this you'll know, or I'd like to think that you'll think you'll know, but as well as your gut feel, it's often very useful to have a lot of supporting facts and detail, and unfortunately that's the anal accountant in me. But then your outcomes are actually based upon experience, facts, as well as your gut feel and creative side. First though, let's just take a step back and have a little bit of sort of philosophy on engagement. And I make no apologies here, I'm going to use my crib sheet, because a infinitely brighter colleague of mine actually wrote something that's quite intelligent, and I'd rather do it justice. So I'm going to read some of this. Good employers are keyed into the latest studies and trends that search for the elusive element that wins their employees' loyalty and determines that star quality that makes the real difference. They understand that the foundation of good customer experience has long been identified as engaged employees. Now just think of that for a minute, okay? That isn't new. You go back a couple hundred years ago, look at the Industrial Revolution, look at the landowners that we had, particularly in this part of the world. And the landowners and the big industrialists provided well-being, food, shelter, provided clothing, provided some of the work environments weren't too pretty. But that as a concept about engagement has been around for hundreds of years. So when you think about that, perversely, have we actually regressed as far as our employee engagement? Quite possibly. Another point. Technology has impacted the way people communicate and increased interactions, but ironically has chipped away the fundamental human need for connection. Our evolution is lagging behind our smart devices and office systems. I have a 15-year-old daughter who cannot move away from her phone for seconds, right? So technology can be good, but again, it can be a massive barrier to employee or people interaction. Like it or not, biology dictates employee need and behaviour. People have emotional reactions that contribute to their decisions and actions, whether they are conscious of this in the moment or not. Decades of defining professional behaviour has also contributed to the cultural norm of ignoring emotions at work. Mad. Although they form the basis of employee engagement. After all, the definition of engagement includes a desire to improve, a belief in the organisation, team spirit, respect, willingness to go that extra mile, which are all rooted in feeling good at work. That makes total sense. So it's not rocket science. We need to control the technology and not be lazy and prioritise engagement. I'll just touch very briefly on us, who we are. As I said, we're an employee engagement consultancy. We started out, Jonathan Beckerleg had a fantastic idea to help develop our proposition. He's ex-president of the ACCA, and he's now our chairman and leads our governance as a result of that. Who are we? As I said, we are an employee engagement consultancy, and we're actually creating a whole new industry. There is not another organisation in the UK who does what we do. So we're a little bit unique and strange as far as that's concerned. One point that really differentiates us versus most consultancies is that we actually deliver and manage ongoing solutions. So unlike a lot of consultants who'll charge you a load of money and say, there you go, off you go, you manage it, we'll actually implement, deliver it and run it. So we're happy to put our head on the block and deliver all that we say that we will do. And as a result of that, we actually have an outsourced model, even though we're a consultancy. Everything we do is focused on helping our clients engage with employees, and we do that through two platforms. And we call those one, there's an iEngagement platform that I'll show you later on, where we provide a whole array of tools and services to clients to help them engage far more effectively with their employees, with their staff. We also have another platform that we call WOW, the Wonderful Workplace, which sort of does as it says on the tin, but it's all designed to not just help clients create the physical environment, but it's the whole work environment. I found myself in running some of the businesses that I mentioned beforehand, I just completely struggled with focusing on strategy, on clients, on operational delivery, on profit, on cash flow, and on my employees. So there was always one thing at that burning platform that invariably got left behind, and unfortunately it was usually the employees. So we exist to help clients fill that void, and that's how we can genuinely help people transform their businesses by focusing on their employees. The employment marketplace is often used as a barometer for the economy, and incidentally a lot of our recruitment-based sort of clients are absolutely flying at the moment. So the economy is clearly doing quite well. This chart just sort of demonstrates, provides a little bit of sort of fact and content where you can see there's increasing demand for staff in pretty much all sectors. So the point here is that you'll see there's demand absolutely everywhere. So there's huge demand in the job marketplace for volume. Okay? This particular chart is a projection and is looking forward, and you can see that it's based between 2012 and 2022, so we're right in the middle. So this is going forward, and it shows a massive increase in demand for skills across all trades and occupations. So that's professional, managerial, skilled and non-skilled. So it's absolutely everywhere. So what we're finding with both of those things is that we're seeing that there's a labour, so volume increase, and a skills increase, so ability. So business and the economy isn't just demanding more, but it's demanding more of better. And that's a bit of a problem. So what you're going to find is that there's an absolute fight for quality and for staff out there. And that really highlights the need for effective employee engagement. So that's the backdrop. It just helps sometimes have a little bit of fact. You'll be aware of it, but it's good to have some content to back up your sort of gut feel and reaction. So let's just have a look at employees now. The pains. This is the nasty bit. Quite often there are restrictions on perks and benefits. Quite rightly so, we've seen increases in national living wage, national minimum wage, and what we've also seen with all our clients is that there's a massive financial desire from clients to try and reduce the amount of benefits that they actually give their employees to compensate for that. So there's a decrease in the amount of sort of benefits and rewards that employees are receiving. There's a lack of reward and recognition. People are increasingly uncertain about their financial stability. A recent study showed that 42% of people, 42% of employees, are worried about their current financial state. 52% are worried about their future financial state. There's such this fight for talent that nowadays people aren't in a job simply for having a job. They want a job because they actually want enjoyment. Gallup did a recent poll that showed I can't believe this actually, even though I'm saying now, 52% of people aren't engaged at work. And the absolutely criminal statistic is that 19%, so I think that's nearly 1 in 5 people, are actively disengaged So it's not even positive, it's the negative aspect. So we spend a lot of our time helping clients balance this by focusing on all of those areas. There is a good bit, so there is the pains. These are the big opportunities. CIPD, so the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development, recently cited the top 3 reasons for people applying for a new job: better pay and benefits, increased job satisfaction, and reduced stress. I can certainly relate to that. So with that in mind, your modern employee is looking for the workplace of the future. They're looking to work in an environment that makes people healthier, makes people happier, they can do what they actually come to work to do. They want increase in skills and development and training at work. They want far better benefits and perks. 75% of employees reported they're more likely to stay at their employer because of the benefit program. That's 3/4. So when you start to have a look at that in relation to the statistics I showed about the fight for talent, that's absolutely huge. 1/3 of the workforce has turned down a job because of the lack of benefits. A bit of a theme sort of developing there, I would think. More people, actually, they want to supplement their income, clearly, with a lot more ancillary sort of benefits. And there's also some flexible working environments and remote working that can also go and help. So for the modern organisation, appreciating the workplace of the future, developing your staff, putting in place a good benefits package, appreciating people's financial stability, and I'll touch on that a little bit later, and being flexible where possible are all opportunities that the vast majority of organisations are missing when they're looking at engaging with employees. Again, sorry, anal accountant in me, when you look at some of these sort of statistics, 51% of organisations reduce staff turnover when they focus on employee engagement. 31% improvement in employee productivity. Just think about that for a minute. Most of us work in tight margin industries. If you can improve your productivity by nearly 1/3 just by taking a longer term view and engaging with your staff, why wouldn't you do it? Engagement benefits have had a major impact on employee loyalty. There's a recent study by MetLife that showed that loyalty increases by nearly 1/3, and that 53% will stay loyal and stay with you with increased pension contributions. Nearly 2/3 of employees will stay loyal for health and well-being benefits. So that longer term view really, really works. All the indications in the modern environment is that employee engagement, it's a no-brainer. You have to take note of it. Those facts are irrefutable. The marketplace demands it. If you genuinely play the long game in running your business, then you'll invariably do the right things in the short term. But the issue here is the vast majority of us are preconditioned, and the businesses that we work in are preconditioned to think short term, and they don't make that investment, and it's not the right thing to do. It's simply not the right thing to do. So, some of the basics. What do you do for engagement? Development. I talked about development beforehand. 76% of millennials think professional development opportunities are one of the most important elements in company culture, and yet we don't do it. There's a lack of career development is the top reason for over 1/5, 22% of employees leave their job. So 1/5 of the workforce leave for the negative aspect that there's just no career development. So you've got a push and a pull. People want development and they leave because they don't get it. Absolutely ludicrous to not do it. So the workforce, especially the younger generations, they need development. That's what they actually want. As far as reward and recognition, 93%, so pretty much everybody, of workers at companies with recognition programs, so proper reward and recognition programs, tied to core values, agree that the work they're doing has meaningful and purpose. It's because they're engaged. It's because they're part of the business. They genuinely feel part of it. As far as protection of personal data, with the 25th of May looming and all sorts of stands with GDPR here, it's no surprise, particularly that the younger generations see this as vogue. And especially with some of the social media and poor press of safety on personal data, it's no surprise that that's a key thing that individuals are looking for. So there's some of the basics, but how to really take it a stage further with engagement with your employees. To have bespoke training and development programs to give people what they genuinely need, putting in place professional qualifications and helping them achieve those objectives. I go back, when I started with KPMG, God knows how many years ago, I pretty much knew what I'd be doing for 3 years. It was completely all laid out in front of me. It was fantastic. So the investment in me, I never left there. I stayed there for 5 years because I just couldn't get enough development and investment, and people don't do that. You think about that. You turn up on day one, I was literally shown what I'd be doing for 3 years, what clients I'd be working on, what training I'd be doing at, where I'd be doing it. It was absolutely fantastic. So proper training and development, a good work environment. You'd be amazed about how much that makes a difference, and it's not that expensive. And I don't just mean here a lovely office with breakout areas, a pool table, nice restaurant, great seats, natural light, which are also no-brainers. I'm talking about reward and recognition programs. I'm talking about happiness communities, to actually really think about the workplace, both the physical and the emotional workplace that people work in. We put down here, promote healthy eating habits. Just little things like that make a massive difference. For a lot of our clients, we actually design healthy eating programs and will deliver healthy snacks and food and things to the workplace. You would be amazed about how little things like that make an absolutely huge difference to the way that you feel about your employer. Reward and recognition, rewarding pensions. Pensions, I mentioned before, I wanted to touch on this, that 52% of people are worried about their future financial state. The vast majority of employers contribute clearly to a workplace pension, and yet most people, I should say, have got absolutely no idea that they A, either have one, or B, how much they've actually got in their pension. And yet, it's something that's costing businesses an absolute fortune. So we help people engage with their employees far more effectively so they can realise the benefit in that. Amazing benefits are clearly something that people really see great value in, and can be a massive differentiator in tailoring what you want to give to your employees as far as benefits are concerned versus your competitors. This is how we do it. Clearly we've given it a fair bit of thought. I'll put it up because it's a nice pretty picture. I actually had a little bit of input into. Not that much, but a little bit of input. And you can see here that we use those two platforms and we call them iEngagement and the Wonderful Workplace. iEngagement provides a whole array of tools, products, services that we give to clients to more effectively engage with their employees. And the Wonderful Workplace, as I say, is all about the physical and more emotional environment to help clients engage far more effectively with their employees. This is totally unique. I guarantee, and I do not use that word lightly, that you will not find another organisation who can put this together for you. It's genuinely unique. It's cost neutral. Those of you who have a pen, please write that down. That's important. It's cost neutral. It's massively valuable, and it really, really, really can and will help you transform your business through your employees. A, that's quite cool to do something through your employees, but B, I genuinely mean it. It is transformational. It will completely change your business. Not just for the reasons that I cite there, but you start to think about the other business benefits of increase in productivity, reduction in turnover, less of a need to constantly recruit fresh people, training and development, the fact that you've got different salespeople or different customer service people, so it's impacting upon your client relationships. The additional business benefits are absolutely staggering. So, I gave you a little bit of the philosophical aspect, a little bit of the intellectual side on employee engagement. Told you a little bit about us. It's not really about us. Important to appreciate some of the facts and figures with the employment marketplace. I really wanted to stress that businesses are increasingly find it difficult to attract the numbers of people and also the right skill sets of individuals. So there genuinely is a real fight for talent in the marketplace. Try to have a look at what employees are telling us. I cited a load of statistics and stuff. It's all independent research, so it's not my opinion. It's pure fact. It's been independently researched about what employees are looking for. So they're not getting it at the moment, and there's a whole load of things that they actually want. Talked about engagement, about some of the basics, and if you want to take it a stage further, about what you can really, really do. And then we've talked about some of the sort of business needs. And the one lasting thought I would leave is that to run an effective business, it's got to be long term. If you look at things in the long term, you will invariably make the correct decisions in the short term because your goal is long term.